There are a total of 8 3D Mario games, well, 9 if you count Bowser's Fury, this side mode to Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury on the Switch. So yes, there's 9 3D Mario games, and we're going to rank all of them today, from the worst to the best. Now this is based on my opinion, and not based on just everything that I love, because Mario Sunshine would definitely be at number 1, because I love that game, but it's not going to be at number 1 in this video. And it's completely fine to disagree, because not too many people are going to have the same picks. Some people are just going to enjoy other Mario games more than others. But at the end of the day, everybody's gonna have their own opinion. But real quick, stop what you're doing, leave a like and subscribe. We ended the week last week with 320 brand new subscribers. That is monumental. Thank you guys so much. We are so close to 300,000 subscribers, so stop what you're doing. A lot of you watching right now are still not subscribed. Alright, but let's jump into the list of all the 3D Mario games ranked. Starting off the list with a game that I feel like most people are not going to disagree with, which is Super Mario 3D Land. This game is still a really fun 3D game, but on a handheld, and it's just like we don't really receive that many 3D Mario games on a handheld. It was awesome to have for the 3DS, but it played it extremely safe. It is a linear 3D Mario experience with a fixed camera, but it's very straightforward, where Mario makes his way from the beginning to the end where the goal flag is, and it's just pretty basic. I mean, there's just some little platforming challenges you'll do from jumping from block to block. There's not much area to explore in, and it's just very linear and very, very tight of a platforming game. It's focused for a single player, which is great. It just always will remind me of the single player predecessor to Mario 3D World. And it has some very mediocre boss battles, repetitive music. It just didn't do much to stand out for me like the other games on this list did. I still love Mario 3D Land dearly, and I will always remember this game and love to go back and play it, but it's just not one of those 3D Mario games that I would put amongst one of my favorites. I am going to receive so much flack from this, and please no one tell Switch Stop that I put Mario 3D World as my 8th game on this list. I love Mario 3D World, don't get me wrong, and I love playing it with friends, even though friends like to pick me up and throw me off the cliff. It's still a really fun experience, and there's not too many 3D Mario games where you can all jump in with 4 players and just have a ball. But that's the reason why I feel like this game isn't as good as some of the others. It's more focused on multiplayer, and lots of the maps and stages are just very wide open and don't really focus too much on physical platforming. Yes, there's more areas to explore, which is a lot of fun, especially when there's more things to collect like green stars and blue stamps. This game just felt like a big sequel to Mario 3D Land, which is fine, but I don't know, I guess I kind of wanted more, especially when we have the genre of open sandbox 3D Marios. I just want to explore with Mario and check things out and go around big areas, especially when these levels were designed like 3D lands to be kind of basic. You know, your grass level, your water level, your lava level, and it just didn't really do a whole lot for me. The game is filled with tons of levels to play and characters to play as, all with special abilities, which is, once again, awesome, and a linear 3D Mario here and there is fine. I guess it's the combination of it being a restrictive Mario game and also a Mario game with little new ideas. Most of it is just, once again, grasslands, trees, water, forest, lava, you know, things that we've seen in 2D Mario games and even Mario 3D Land before, so unfortunately it's not one of my favorites. A game that caught a lot of us by surprise and is still to me a example of what could be coming very soon for 3D Mario, more of an open world style of Mario. With Bowser's Fury, it was something new. It was something we have never seen before, allowing us to just kind of run around and do whatever. There was no levels with hub worlds, there was no different worlds to travel to. The whole world could be seen as soon as you started the game, and it was your job to unlock new islands and new parts of the level to go and explore. This is the style of Mario game that I think everyone is ready for, but just on a much larger scale. And that is the primary reason why it's lower on this list, is because it's not massive, it's not even big, it's very small. It is a very small 3D Mario experience, and if you want to just bust your way to the very end of the game, you could probably do so in about an hour, maybe 2 hours, and speedrunners are able to do it in like 15 to 20 minutes. So yeah, it's not that massive of a game, and anyone can learn to speedrun this game because the routes are very simple. It's just so much fun to run around the entirety of Lake Labcat and just collect cat shines on various different islands at your own leisure. You don't have one objective that you need to do. You can do pretty much whatever you want and collect whatever cat shine collects your interest the most. So yeah, this game brings that open-endedness feeling to a Mario game which we've technically never had. Mario Odyssey pushed this boundary a lot more, but did have segmented worlds where you collected any moon that you wanted, and there were still primary missions that you needed to complete, where Bowser's Fury, there was no like one cat shine that you needed. I mean, you pretty much just collected whatever you could find. I love this game, but the fact that I was able to play through the entirety of the game like 10 times in the first week just says how short it is. And if it was just longer, like a lot longer and a lot bigger, then it would probably pass a lot of games on this list. Bowser's Fury is a great game held back by its short length, and I really look forward to see what they do with this formula in the future. And also, I feel like I just completely didn't mention it. I love the giant Bowser boss battles, but I wish there were some different ones than just giant Bowser every single time, because it did get repetitive when you fought him every 5 minutes. My personal favorite 3D Mario game, but I had to put it lower just on the fact that I understand why a lot of people don't really love this Mario game. Mario Sunshine, to me, is so unique, based on just kind of how the game works. For one, Mario has a brand new ability that uses a water pack with different nozzle attachments that can do different things. Not to mention that the entirety of the game takes place on a brand new island called Isle Delfino with tons of beach themed worlds, which is something very different. You know, you don't have your grassland, your underwater only, your lava, your forest, you know, your basic 3D exploration areas like you would see in 3D World and 3D Land. They were all like these really cool themed beaches with their own style and vibe to them. With this being the second 3D sandbox style Mario game in the franchise, it once again brought back the challenges like from Mario 64, allowing you to complete specific tasks in different worlds, which a lot of people kind of missed with Super Mario Odyssey, but you had that here. Now, the only thing that's really dragging this game down is its brutal difficulty, because yes, even somebody who knows this game like the backside of my foot, it is a very difficult game, and it's very easy to fall off platforms or to get hit by things or to not even know what to do next, because it really doesn't explain a whole lot. But that's what I love about it. It's very mysterious and you have to figure out what to do. But at the same time, I do recognize the controls are wonky and the camera just doesn't work half of the video game, and there's just lots of areas that just don't make sense in this game, including the horrible end of the game road to Bowser in Corona Mountain, especially that stupid lava boat. With original characters and original boss battles and a brand new creative moveset for Mario, it felt fun to fly around with Mario and to dive and slide on all the goop and ick everywhere or on the water, and the physics and everything with this game just felt so good. But unfortunately, like I said, it did come down to the controls, some really weird difficulty spikes, and overall just a game that a lot of people are gonna play nowadays and just be like, ugh, this didn't age well for a Mario game. I still love it and play it pretty much every single year in the summer, and it's always a game that's gonna be near and dear to me. But yes, nostalgia has to get pushed out of the way, because I do understand why a lot of people might hate Super Mario Sunshine. Next up, we have Super Mario 64. I love Mario 64 as well, and it is just a classic 3D Mario game, as the first 3D Mario game to start this whole thing. But a lot of people nowadays say that it does not age as well as people think it does, and I'd have to agree that yes, this game is extremely hard at times, and also the controls are very wonky, including the fact that the camera is literally unplayable at times. Mario 64 has some very creative worlds, and I love the hub world of Peach's Castle, and being able to go throughout Peach's Castle, jump through paintings or weird warpy water is really interesting to take you to some of these really crazy worlds. I remember finding the desert world after so many years because I didn't know you had to jump through a brick wall. It's just stuff like this that really resonated with me, and I love how they tied in the hub world to the actual levels themselves. For instance, with Tick-Tock Clock, you had to jump in at a specific time in order to have different movements within the level itself, which is just crazy, but it's also really fun to find on your own. And at the same time, I think these levels are really creative and fun platforming challenges. Some are just strictly platforming, like Rainbow Ride, where just tons of platforms in the sky, and some are more explorative, like Bob-Omb Battlefield, which actually allows you to go around the entire level and explore a little bit. But each level has tons of missions for you to go and find, and a lot of them are very hard to find on your own, especially some of them in Hazy Maze Cave, which might lead you on a wild goose chase trying to find where the star is. So I get the aspect of this game just being extremely difficult, and for a newer audience, they might not understand what to do or how to control the camera at certain times, but for veteran pros, we know what we're doing, and it's still a really fun game to this day. But unfortunately, there is another game very similar, in fact, the same exact game that I believe does it a little bit better. That's right, right, I'm talking about Mario 64 DS. A lot of people hate this game, and I feel like it always boils down to the same problem, and it's because of the D-pad of how you control Mario. We're going from a control stick with the original with the Nintendo 64 to a D-pad on the original DS. I get it. It is very weird, but I'm sorry, the D-pad is not enough to make me say this game is just trash, because it's not, and if anything, I do think it's better than the original version. The physics engine is a little different here, but the game plays really well, and it definitely improves on its original by making it less convoluted at times, adding tons of content to a game that already had tons of worlds, meaning new worlds, new bosses, and even new playable characters with Luigi, Yoshi, and Wario, and they all have special moves as well, which just makes this game all sorts of fun. The camera is still a little wonky, but it is improved, and it's pretty much just a better looking Mario 64. It improves the graphics in so many different areas and just makes the game look a lot better as it's cleaned up. The fact that a lot of people say if this game only had a control stick, I would put it above the original is just sad. I get it, it stinks, but it's definitely better than the original because it just fixes a lot of its problems and adds tons of new content, which is awesome. And on the topic of the new content, there's tons of new mini games to play, and these aren't just like the stupid mini games that no one's gonna care about. These are actually fun. I remember spending tons of hours into some of these mini games as a kid, and even playing them with some of my friends. Now we are down to the top 3 Mario games, and at number 3 we have Super Mario Galaxy 2. And for a while I was a strong believer that Mario Galaxy 2 was just better than Mario Galaxy 1, and I've only played it like 2 or 3 times, but I need to get back to it again to see if truly it is better. But after really reflecting and looking back at some of the galaxies, I just feel like Mario Galaxy 1 did a lot of things already that Mario Galaxy 2 just did again. I mean, it literally just copied some galaxies and flipped the names. Like we went from Freeze Flame Galaxy to Shiver Burn Galaxy. I'm like, it's the same premise. And a lot of the galaxies are like this, where you might be like, we've done this already. It has tons of new cool power-ups, and some of the levels are a lot better than some of the ones in Mario Galaxy 1, and they just improve on things. For instance, adding Yoshi and new abilities for Yoshi with his fruit, but at the same time, I feel like Mario Galaxy 1 did it first, and it had a fresher experience in my mind, and I still think some of Mario Galaxy 1's galaxies are just a little bit better. It is seriously just Mario Galaxy, but more, which is not bad at all because Mario Galaxy is phenomenal, and for it to be a linear 3D Mario experience with a fixed camera, very similar to that of Mario 3D Land and 3D World, it does so much more by having unique power-ups and unique locations in space, which makes it so cool. Flying around from planet to planet, having an awesome, near flawless gravity mechanic that even ties into some really cool puzzles is such a crazy thing for Mario. And Mario really only has one new ability in this game, being able to use this galactic spin thanks to Illuma. Like I said, I love the addition of things like Yoshi with new power-ups, but some things like, for instance, removing the hub world of Rosalina's observatory for a replacement of just a 2D map moving Mario's planet to where you want to go is just kind of a downgrade, but at the same time, it still is a really, really good Mario game. And for crying out loud, Nintendo, put the game on the Switch. It's so underappreciated. And at number 2, we have the original Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii. This game did it first, and still, in my opinion, did it best. Its galaxies are so memorable, and of course, the Comet Observatory being the hub world, and the whole story with Rosalina, and the fact that Rosalina is a main focus in this Mario Galaxy is just the best. I love seeing her story through the storybook, and that music is just so sentimental and really makes me just kind of tear up. But man, the galaxies in this game are so well fleshed out, and I love the theming of some of them, like Freeze Flame Galaxy, combining both fire and ice. I loved Ghostly Galaxy, and of course Bouldergeist, and just every single galaxy had a unique theme and amazing soundtrack to pair with it, especially Buoy Base Galaxy. I will always love this as one of my favorite galaxies and one of my favorite songs in a Mario game. Not to mention some other great galaxies with great music like Gusty Garden, or oh my goodness, Toy Time Galaxy was so unique. A galaxy based on like a kid's toy room, and almost like a kid's birthday party with different types of foods, sweets, and desserts, and obviously a giant toy mecha Bowser. I mean, there were so many crazy ideas thrown into this one game. It was just phenomenal, and I feel like there was more just flying around in this game, launching your yourself from launch star to launch star, and I loved everything that this game had to offer. And honestly, it just did it first, and it's the reason why a lot of people remember this one more than Mario Galaxy 2, because it did it first and still, in my opinion, did it a little bit better. But Mario Galaxy is always a game that everyone's going to remember. It's a game that you can also now play on Nintendo Switch, and it's a game that I'm glad Nintendo still remembers. And it speaks a lot of volumes for a game that's still very much linear, but to this day, it's a lot of people's favorite 3D Mario games still, even above some of the newer installments, which is pretty crazy to think about. The Mario Galaxy will forever be a legendary 3D Mario game and a legendary Mario game in general. And of course, on this list, I chose Super Mario Odyssey to be the best 3D Mario game. Super Mario Odyssey is an experience like I've never had in my entire life, and up until this game, Super Mario Sunshine was still my favorite 3D Mario game, even more than the Galaxy games. But when Super Mario Odyssey came out, I could not believe what I was seeing with the trailers. I could not believe what I was playing when the game actually dropped. It is so incredible. It is truly one of the craziest games I've ever played. The fact that you can run around with one of the most diverse movesets that Mario has ever had, with dives, rolls, flips, and jumps, and on top of that incorporated a brand new one with him throwing his hat around and also able to capture enemies and pretty much use them like brand new power-ups. Being able to play through Mario enemies and objects and characters throughout the franchise was one of the most surreal moments for me, and it's a moment that I'll never forget. My first time playing as a Goomba or flying around as a Bullet Bill, it's just stuff like that. It's just so wacky and weird, but it works so well, and the way they tie all of these captures into puzzles and collecting moons is just awesome. The only complaint that I and other people have is the fact that some of the moons are too easy to collect and there's just scattered everywhere. Oh, ground pound here, moon. Oh, jump on this brick, moon. But at the same time, it encourages exploration, to go around the entirety of some of these huge kingdoms and just explore, break things, and find hidden secrets literally scattered around every single corner. It truly is incredible just how good this game is. Even the worlds themselves take on some really crazy themes, including one that's based on like polygonal food with the Luncheon Kingdom. Do we even need to talk about the Metro Kingdom? It's literally just New York slapped into a Mario game. And the music is just phenomenal. Fossil Falls will forever be one of my favorite Mario themes of all time, and it's still just emotional hearing that song. I tie it into like the first trailer, and it just makes me kind of just tear up thinking about it every single time. Super Mario Odyssey was more than just a game, it was an experience. It was just a phase of time that just covered 2017 for me. Breath of the Wild was phenomenal and will always be one of my favorite games of all time, but Super Mario Odyssey just wrote its name on the entire year. It was something different, it was something emotional for me as a huge Mario fan. It is one of the main reasons why I talk about Mario so much as I do today. In fact, it also inspired me to create a channel simply due to the trailer of this game. I was like, I have to talk about this game. I could go on and on and on about Mario Odyssey for the next 20 minutes, but I will end it here. Super Mario Odyssey is without a doubt my favorite 3D Mario game, and to me, the best in the bunch. But let me know in the comments down below what your favorite 3D Mario game is. Maybe it's not Odyssey, and maybe your worst is not Mario 3D Land, but let me know your list down below and your reasoning to some of your picks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.